Hello everyone, it's Mark Bolstad. This is unit summary number 1. It's going to be about a 10-minute video of me walking through everything that we've done in the class so far, what I like about the class, what I need to work on in the class, and I will run through the latest project we did through the papers that I came up with in the charts. So to start off, let's scroll on over to the Blackboard webpage, which, forgive me, but I'm using my roommate's computer and it's a Mac because my dog decided to chew my charger cord from my computer. So this might take a second for me to get back to the internet here. So first thing I did in the class was set up my email to make sure it was working correctly, which it was. Um, and just this past couple weeks started talking to people to get the groups together for the solar ovens, and I ended up partnering up with Danielle Abril, sorry, tongue twister. And she's a good partner. We've been working together well, and we should get it done by tonight, no problem. Back to Blackboard, Spring 13. First thing that we all saw was the welcome post by David. And I found it very interesting to see what we were going to be doing in the course. So like every class, the first thing I did was jumped on the syllabus, which we have here. Today I did the cultural science, sent an email to David about the cultural science. I think I'll probably just visit the Arizona Science Center because it seems pretty interesting to me, and I haven't been to it since I was a kid. Read up on the syllabus, understood most of it, and just through working through the class, most of the stuff I didn't understand is ironed out. So after I did that, I went to the discussion board for week 1 and answered the 3 questions. What is physics? What is reality? Is physics real? Back to this discussion board, introductions, got to meet everybody in the class, ran through everybody's introductions, and that was cool. Weekly summary 1. For weekly summary 1, let's see, what did I choose for weekly summary 1? Did a couple videos. Just like this one.
Hi everybody, my name's
Oh, that was my first screencast. Oh, I don't know what I did there. Sorry, weekly summary. I was getting it confused with neat resource. For weekly summary 1, did my screencast thematic, got familiar with that, posted it to YouTube, and it was brought to my attention that by Heather Connor that she couldn't really hear it, and I think it's just an issue with my microphone on my computer. So now I'll be more aware of that going into the next unit, and I'll talk a little bit louder on my computer. I think this one seems to record a little bit better, but let me know if it doesn't. Then we did Neat Resource 1. For Neat Resource 1, I did something on static electricity. It's hard for me to remember what this was because it was so many weeks ago.
For this
That's right.
experiment, we're gonna need 5-cent coin, plastic tube. I got the pump over here.
So this is my video of some interesting Romanian guy talking about static electricity. So I thought it was kind of funny and thought some people might enjoy that in the class. Then back to this discussion board and Nature of Science. Read that, talked about it, said what I had to say. It was interesting reading everybody else's reactions to that as well. Then on to week 2, weekly summary 2, Neat Resource 2, 4-dimensional thinking. Weekly summary, obviously the same thing with Screencast-O-Matic. Neat Resource 2 did something on light, I believe. Interesting video from Neat Physics or Minute Physics, which they always have pretty good videos. And then 4-dimensional thinking, like I was talking about, That was an interesting write up about what David had to say, and I think it brought about a lot of conversation and debate. So I found that interesting. I've never had something like that in class that we've had to talk about. It's usually, I guess, frowned upon by some people, but it's kind of nice because, that's what we deal with in everyday life. And I like that about this class. It's geared more towards what we're actually going to use rather than just sitting in a book and studying formulas and having our brains explode. So this is a very, very cool class. I really enjoy it. Um, After that, four-dimensional thing, weekly summary 3. Again, posted the screencast thematic summary for week 3, and neat resource 3, which was about the solar ovens, which we did for the project this week. And I'm glad a few of you guys found my post helpful. That's good. I kind of just found something interesting and posted it on there, and it happened to work out. So right on. But anyway, it gave some good hints for all of us on the solar cookers, people that decided to look at it. Um, and I actually didn't even use it for my solar cooker, which is kind of funny. All I did was go to YouTube and type in parabolic solar oven, and the first thing that came up was a guy who sounds like Cleveland from Family Guy, um, talking about how he built a solar oven out of a satellite TV dish, an old one, and I just so happened to have one lying in my backyard from when I switched to DirecTV to Dish, so that worked out perfectly, which I'll take you through in just a second. And then obviously Unit 1 summary, which we brought to today. Um, so we went through all that in the past few weeks, and I think finally this past week and a half, this course has started to flow a little bit better for me. I'm spending more time on it, which is nice. I'd say probably about 10 hours a week so far. Just going through everybody's answers and everything on the discussion board and the course content. Um, the quiz and all that stuff. But obviously, like the John Travoltage and balloons and sweater, playing around on that website was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. Something a little bit different as well. Uh, and then that brings us to week 4. And if I open up this in a new tab, this is the project. Well, actually, I didn't do it correctly. But anyway, we all know what the project was. And let me just kind of walk you through what I did. So I did the parabolic oven for the project, and Danielle's putting together a pretty good presentation, and I'm helping her out as well with that. But basically, I wrote out a piece of paper of the steps that I did for the parabolic oven. Again, I found my information for this on YouTube, um, and I changed a couple things on it. The guy had a more professional style oven where I had more of the college budget oven. I used a piece of 2x4 and a couple pieces of wood, which I'll show you here if I can find the picture. I don't know if I have it on here. Of course, I don't have it on here, the picture of it, but it's on my presentation. But that's the dish right there that I used, and I just set it on the chair, and then I had a piece of 2x4 and some more wood and rubber bands and a coffee pot, an old coffee pot, with a liter of water in it. And it worked pretty well. It heated it up, but it only got to about 130 degrees Fahrenheit maximum. Um, but it was interesting. It's something I've never done and never really thought about. And if I ever get stuck somewhere in the snow, I hope I have some tinfoil on me, because then I won't get cold. I learned a lot during this project about thermodynamics and heat change and taking the sun's energy and focusing it so it gets really hot. Um, it brought a lot of ideas and uh, situations to mind in my head, and it made sense on how they how all that stuff works and how the sun harnesses energy, or how we're able to harness the sun's energy. Um, and if you actually hold your hand on the solar point of your solar oven, it can pretty much burn your hand in 3-4 seconds, which was crazy. I burned a hole through a plastic cup and lit a piece of paper on fire. But these are just a couple pictures here of the coffee pot and the um, thermometer I used to measure the temperature of the water. Took me about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours to build and brainstorm the solar oven that I came up with. Uh, I just got lucky that I happened to have all that stuff in my backyard. Here's the chart on. So then I went to Excel and I filled out all my information for the project. I recorded the temperature of the water every 2 minutes. I only took a few pictures of it, but I did record it every 2 minutes. And you'll see here's all the minutes right here. And then here's the temperatures in Celsius. Started at 23. My thermometer started at 25, but I'm pretty sure it was around 23 room temperature. Um, and shot all the way up to 49, so it doubled, a little bit over doubled in an hour. And I let it sit for a little bit longer after the presentation, and it was still heating. It got all the way up to about 55, but it took a while. So I feel like it would work if I was able to change the angle of the solar oven to make sure the focal point was on the bottom of the coffee pot more often and make sure it's at the hottest point. Then I think it would have boiled, and it would have boiled really quickly. But in the hour that I was able to get all that stuff done, um, I didn't succeed. But here's the chart, so you can see it's just a slow incline. Most of the temperature rise happened at the beginning, and then it was just kind of a slow, constant incline all the way up to my 60th minute, which you'll hear more about in our presentation. Um, so after we did that, I well, that brought me to this, making the Unit 1 presentation, or summary, I'm sorry. And yeah, that's about it. This is the inbox. This is where I discussed or talked to Danielle and the previous group that I was with, and David, who I'm just waiting to hear back about the interview time, and I sent him my cultural science request this afternoon. So that's 4 weeks right there. Uh, I've enjoyed the class, and I think the sticky tape presentation that we did in the beginning was an awesome way to get people's attention in the class. And I think that this is obviously a different style, of course, but I think it's really awesome, and I think it shows how professional you are, that you want people to learn what they're going to use in the future rather than just sitting there and studying out of a book. So this is probably the best $500 I've spent in college to take a class so far. Um, I've obviously learned a lot so far. Um, Things I'm going to try to change. Taking more times on my weekly summaries. I think I get a little bit quick, and it might be a little hard to hear me, and I probably don't cover enough information, as much information as I should. So I'm going to change that, make those a little better, and spend a little bit more time on this course. Um, Now that I'm more familiar with how to use everything. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm going to change, just taking more time. This past week, I started working on everything on Monday. Got my whole cooker built Monday, which was nice. It was nice to relax um, and concentrate on other things, knowing that I have plenty of time to get all this stuff done. So anyway, I look forward to keep working hard in this class and working with more people, and I'm enjoying everything so far. So thank you.